Oh, good evening. Welcome to the Ham Radio Clubhouse. How are you
Man,
guys?
that's awesome. That's an awesome get you
I like
going.
that track.
I like that track, man.
If you listen to it backwards, it's saying Ham Radio Clubhouse is the best.
It does. It really does, dude.
Totally.
I didn't want to pat my foot too much because I was afraid it might make the record skip.
You know, I'm gonna tell you all something. If you guys have ever listened to Leonard Skinner, Molly Hatchet, it has a little nice twang, you know, a little Southern fried rock to it, but then all of a sudden it kicks up to like 1970s rock and roll. And when you're listening on your headsets, it goes from one channel to the other. And I don't know, and I don't want to sound like the old curmudgeon. Is that the right word? The old guy here. But they don't do curmudgeon. They don't do.
You use language like that. Yeah, you're definitely
okay. The old troll. You don't hear that kind of rock and roll music today. Yeah, maybe Foo Fighters, maybe, but you really don't hear that stuff on a regular basis, man. And
you'd be surprised though, Izzo. I need to send you some links because there's some bands that they're not like front of radio, but they have a really good sound to them. I think you'd like them.
Any Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, any
Ish.
Bob Seger,
the old 80s hair bands.
Jackson Brown.
I thought you were going to say Jackal.
Get off my lawn.
Well, first off, I want to say hello to all the new members. We had quite a few people join the channel, subscribe to the channel here over the last probably couple of weeks, and we've had several people that have hopped in on the downloading of the podcast. So welcome to everybody on the podcast. You guys are awesome. And if you can't catch us live, we are every episode but one goes out on a podcast, usually the same week that it goes out. And so that way, if you need to indulge while you're driving to work, you know, we're there. We got you back. We got you.
And somehow the mystery elf got last week's show up real fast. And I want to thank that elf.
That was called somebody that had to work overnight, had all day off and nothing else to do.
Thank you.
We've had some really fantastic comments that people, or just messages that people share with us. So thank you very much. It's very encouraging to read some of the messages. Yeah. So it's awesome. Awesome. And yeah, we got 612 subscribers. Ooh, that's pretty high.
Getting there. Of course. You'll have to go back and re-listen and then go back and watch the videos and see if you can spot the one that's not in there.
I
Just
highly
saying.
recommend you do that.
We took a closed door vote, and it wasn't going out.
That should remain an internet exclusive. Hey, well, wait a minute, because my Mexico episode went to podcast. So
Yes, it did.
Things that make you go.
There's some bias there, I think.
Actually, with the visuals of that show, we should remove it from YouTube.
Delete that from YouTube,
and we can keep it on podcast. I think that's really, yeah.
Let me tell you, I watched last week's show at work because it had to be seen, number one, and just, the animals were not too crazy. They were still in their cages, and before things got, crazy to them. But last week's show, man, I'm going to tell you something. Maybe I'm biased because, I liked it, but that was funny, man. That was some funny. At work, I got the map for a screensaver and a backdrop, and so if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta watch last week's show.
It was a great interview with Charlie and
right. That's how it started.
Sandy, right?
Yep.
Sandra. Yeah.
Sandra. That's how it started. Yep.
Yeah. I kind of lost track after.
They're good people. They're really, really good. They're good people, and their channels are fantastic. Even, let's face it, this guy, I'm probably never going to do a soda, but I love watching Charlie's videos, man. They're
you can do a drive-up soda. Then you just have to get out of your car. You don't have to hike a mountain. You don't have to go challenge the billy goats.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys have any soda spots there.
Yeah, it'll be 911. Yeah, it'll be 911. We have a mountain rescue to get the helicopter ready.
A mountain rescue from a hill that's about a half a mile down the road.
The fat guy is stuck. The fat guy. You can see him. He's smoking a cigar, waiting for the stoke basket to come. The stoke basket to come down.
I don't know why it's so difficult for me to climb up 10,000 feet as you smoke your cigar.
Well, you would go through that cigar real fast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, speaking of soda,
just go to Texas and get a soda with Jason.
Right.
Yeah, that's you can a 6-foot A-frame ladder would do the same thing. That's what that would do. But speaking of soda, tonight I'm drinking soda because I had a great time on Ham Radio 2.0's live stream the other week. And Jason, I know you're here. I hope I didn't embarrass anybody, but I had fun. And I don't remember some of it.
If you get the invite for the next one, then
if I get the invite.
Either short term memory loss or
the fact that I got an invite in the first place makes me think the bar is pretty low. So
what a jerk.
What? I appreciate it.
And Jason says good. you have a quota on Friday. You had a quota on Friday.
Yes, he did.
So Daniel, I'll just say it is actually very entertaining to go back and watch the replay. I didn't think I would do it on 32, but it's funny.
Yeah, I watched it Saturday afternoon at work. Things slowed down. I threw it on, man, and oof.
Yeah. The worst is when you're like, you got like a thought in your head and you're like, okay, it makes sense, and then you're like, and then nothing makes sense, and you're like, you're just speaking, and you can't put your thought, like it's like your mind goes blank. So, but yeah, it was a good time. But besides for that,
wow.
So Jason says Frank was there before you, so the bar was already low, so you're good to go. I have to remember to read some of these because we have podcast listeners that may not be seeing this.
Yeah. And talking about that, I would like to congratulate Jason for making it in here in the chat before Tank tonight.
Careful, you say his name 3 times and look what happens. He's going to
timing is everything.
I'm gonna start something when Frank is not in the comment section. We do arms down. That's what we're gonna do. So how do I do arms down on my keyboard here?
/
You just do
it
in reverse.
Arms down. There you go. Jason is sitting in the airport in Honolulu. Wow. Thanks for the invite.
Please tell me you
Excellent.
took a radio with you.
So I was told that he did.
Okay.
Because I told him I don't care what station I have to remote into. If he goes to a POTA park, I will get Hawaii in my parks on the air.
Right.
What are you talking about? Jason has radios waiting on him wherever he goes.
That too.
So
I'm
true.
off Thursday and Friday, Jason. So let's get going here.
So am I.
I'm
Hey
working
guys,
from the house,
serious.
so-
Hey guys, I caught the news tonight, just trying to get caught up on things. Crazy week, just like everyone else here. But the northwest part of the United States, a lot of rain, flooding. So I guess on behalf of everybody at Ham Radio Clubhouse, we like to have a good time. But in all serious, we hope everybody out in that Washington State, parts of Canada, Oregon, and any other areas of that area that are being affected by all that rain and water and wind. Please take care. We are thinking of you, and do what you got to do. And we hope any preliminary emergency supplies that you have thought about. I'm sure you're probably engaging them if you have to. So, but we are thinking of you, and we're sending positive thoughts to everybody into that region of the country. So, because we know what it's like, we've had it here in the Northeast, and it's.
I was about to say, after all those wildfires, that's mudslide territory.
Yeah, mudslides too. They had it. Yeah.
So do we want to go around real quick and do a quick brief introduction, since we do have a lot of new people, or do you just want to get right to it? I'll leave it up to you guys.
I can't say the comment I wanted to say to follow up on what Don said, but in BC and Canada too, which is going to say, remember that the police are 911. That's all you have to. If you need help, they're still there. That's all I have to say.
All right.
Because
Yes,
the
his
first
camera
thing,
freezes.
the first
Right.
thing I thought of, it was anime. It was anime and her family and friends, and I thought I hope they're doing well, and I see her. She's in the chat, so that must be a good thing.
Yeah.
So, anime.
Yeah.
We're always thinking about you. So.
All right, guys. Shall we get
And-
started? Do we have?
Sure, why
I'm
not, man?
K5YVY. I'm still the same last 37 episodes. Yeah.
But Joe, there are people who might not have seen 36 other episodes, so because they're
Welcome.
new people, they're new subscribers, so they don't know who Joe Brett is.
Any subscriber's an awesome subscriber, so welcome.
And they got to go back and watch, which episode is it? 32?
1 through 31, and then 33 through current.
Oh, 32 is the hidden one, right? Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
That means
And then go to last week's happy hour on Ham Radio 2.0 and watch Daniel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm
All right,
Don.
let's have some fun.
I'm Don W1FYG. Smoke Signals RF. You find me on Twitter. I'll get back to getting some YouTube stuff here in a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. I'm just waiting for some things to change. But I like to play POTA, Parks on the Air, and just have fun. And I like to smoke cigars. And I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
What everyone tells me. Oh, and there's certain words I can't say. Do not. I was told tonight, do not. I was almost given a list of certain words. Do not try to say. And they were going to
Do not try to pronunciate these words.
And if you are, say them like they were going to be like, how when you know how to say something, they say it so you can like how you see it. Like if you don't know how to say a word, if you don't know how to pronounce a word, you know how sometimes you could write it like how you would say it, but it's anyway.
That was very deep, Don. Very deep.
Deep thoughts.
Appreciate that.
Deep thoughts.
Steve, when are we gonna get?
How long?
When are we
how
gonna
much
get
you
some
been
antenna
drinking, Don?
videos?
None.
Yeah. I definitely need to get going on that, especially with the
TikTok.
weather. Yeah, with the weather being like it is.
He's on TikTok?
I'm actually no.
Oh,
No, I'm staying away from that.
Don't blame you there.
I am calling different concrete contractors tomorrow to find out who can bring me a short load. 1 cubic yard is 45 80-pound bags, and I don't feel like mixing that by hand.
I don't blame you there.
But that's going to be the base of the tower. So
I would go find a residential development and tell one of them, hey, if you need to go and wash out your truck, you can wash it out right over here, in this particular spot.
I got a 3x3 hole that needs to be filled.
Yeah, just wash it out there, then you ain't got to worry about it.
I've got a neighbor that has a driveway made of washout.
Exactly.
Nice.
Free concrete, man.
Well, I've got to redo the end of my driveway, 16 foot wide, 9 foot long, because it's collapsing. So I'm thinking if I can mix the two of them, maybe that'll pay for it.
There you go. Well, Daniel, do you have anything coming up? We're going to see anything from We Build, We Learn anytime soon?
Nope, not happening.
No,
I try to edit like a couple videos this last week. I don't know about you guys, but like I don't watch the show for a reason. I hate listening to myself talk, and it's the same thing when I record a video.
Us too sometimes.
And I'm just like delete. Like I
hate hearing him talk too.
No, I thought I had like 8 videos ready to go. Like I was like, I'm gonna edit. First one, scrap. Second one, scrap. And then I was just like, screw it. I'm gonna do like completely
you're
like
too hypercritical of yourself.
So look, all you do, you'll notice in some of the videos that I'll release it whenever I get ready to, they kind of jump a little bit, and that's because I'm not listening to myself for the same reason. I don't like to hear myself over and over and over, editing 82 times. But so I just go to the audio and look for the dead spots in audio and cut it.
There you go.
Just go.
Yeah, but see, Joe, the problem is with your Mississippi accent there. Is there's forgiveness when people are kind of drunk, and I think what it is, I think the thing with your voice is you kind of sound drunk, like you're like,
oh my god!
Let me try and do my best Joe impersonation. I don't know.
We're 16 minutes into this.
What are you talking about?
No, I'm dead serious.
Oh god!
I don't know. It sounds like a Canadian when he gets drunk. He slurs his words and says, "Hello, how you doing? My name is Joe Brett." And that's I know.
I think Don hit the nail on the head. Next on We Build, We Learn, Summer Field Day 2022.
There you go.
Exactly.
I think Jason will probably build that DX Commander first.
Probably.
Hey, look down there.
Hey.
Look who just showed up.
Your snack.
Look at this. You delayed long enough for me to arrive home. What's up, guys?
Exactly, man. We wanted to save you a spot before we brought the guest in and got all wound up.
We was hanging on by a string.
Molson just started with his.
I was listening. I was listening to YouTube before I jumped in here. But Don, I got diagnosed with apathy, and then I realized I don't care.
Now you're going to make me go to the Google. Now I got to go to the Google.
Cheers, boys.
I can't do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So, do we want to just jump into it?
I think it's a good time to bring in our guests.
I do
Yes,
too.
please.
Let's bring him in.
So, let's bring in Ant and Bean.
That's what
And
everybody's here for.
if you guys have not seen this dynamic POTA duo, you are missing out. So let me click the button there, and I'm gonna put you guys in the center. There we go.
Stuck in.
Welcome.
I want to correct you. It's Bean and Ant, not Ant.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Ooh, look at that. Ooh. Damn.
You know what? I knew it. I was
Spicy.
talking with you before the show. I was commenting on the thumbnail of this video, and I was like, I know who's in charge in that relationship. He's like, you. So thank you for confirming that.
And Molson just said, "Phew, it was Shane, not me."
Well, welcome, guys. Welcome.
Listen,
Yes, thank you for inviting us.
I found these guys. They fell into my life, and you know when something good falls into your life, and you meet good people, and you're like, man, I wish this happened 20 years ago or whatever. But they're from Connecticut, and we had our first Connecticut POTA meetup last month. They showed up, and let me tell you something. They rocked the 2 hours or 3 hours we were there. Everybody was like, look at what they're doing. And it was just so amazing. And that's when I said, we got to get them on the show. So guys, thank you so much for taking the time out. And when the next 45 to 60 minutes or so, our fans are going to learn what wonderful people you guys are and some of the positive things that you're doing in the hobby. So
I should have
let's
queued
just
up some of that audio from that. Actually, I'll do that while you guys are exchanging some info here. I'm going to go grab the audio from that that excursion. That was fantastic to listen to.
Is that when we were in Pennsylvania?
So
Yeah.
guys, tell us, how did you get started in ham radio? What was the trigger, and does it go way back or just recently?
So I started with ham radio because I was in a class learning about Wi-Fi design, and one of the guys in the class was like, "Hey, the FCC is outlawing this radio you can get for $20 on eBay." I was like, "Well, of course I'm going to buy an illegal radio on eBay for $20."
What?
Who wouldn't?
And then I found out I couldn't do anything but listen on it, and that's what got me started in the ham radio studying, learning, and I got my license. Then wanted to. I go through ham radio in an expensive way. I learn something and then I move on, and then I learn something else and I move on. So I have to keep buying things to keep doing the learning, whether it's the HT or the signal link, so I can do digital, then the HF radio, the antenna that does this, the hotspot that does that. So very expensive way to hop through the hobby. Finally, I got to CW, and that's hard. So I haven't moved on from that yet. I'm still doing the CW, but being here, she wanted to play too.
Yeah, so my start was actually the club that I joined after I passed my technician test. They had field day, like July, everybody has field day. And it was like a contest, and I've always been a video gamer. So I just went at it at that approach, and I was like, I've got to make the most contacts. So,
I'm right there with you.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how I started, and I was like, wow, I really like this. And then I don't even know how we got into satellites, but we ended up buying an antenna to point. Actually, he made one out of a tape measurer and a little pole. And we were pointing it and making contacts across the world with a tape measure antenna, which was really cool. And then it started getting colder, and we bought a different antenna to hold, same thing, still outside, but it was getting cold. And I'm like, my birthday's coming up, because my birthday's in December. It's like, yeah, we could do this from the house. He researched, I researched, and now we have on top of our roof a Leo sat pack that has a rotator that just automatically tracks the satellites. So
wow,
now I can make contacts from the house. But
excellent.
when
That's
we do it
awesome.
in the park, it's so fun. My problem is I don't ever slow down. I need all the contacts. I can't stop. That's just how and you guys will probably hear that if you ever hear me on HF. I just run through call signs like crazy. But it's because
That's a good thing.
Doing satellites.
Yep.
So to do HF and POTA is a lot different. And he's like, you should ride to sometimes. And I'm like, no.
So now I heard you guys got a new gift. Somebody got a new radio, right?
Yeah. So I bought when we were doing the Connecticut meetup, and everybody had the G90. I was like, well, everybody must have the G90 for a good reason, so I'm going to buy a G90. And I bought the G90, and after
that was my Christmas gift to him.
Yeah, that was
her
Christmas gift to me. After I opened it, we started playing in the park before again.
I already have the IC 9700,
which was my Christmas gift last year.
But Bean, how does it start? How do you say, or who introduced you to satellite contacts, regardless of POTA, just the topic itself? How did that start?
Oh boy, I don't even know.
Was it so? Was it when you were a tech and you were exploring things that you could do as a technician?
I was actually going to take my general this evening, but that didn't happen because I'm here.
Oh, well, we can take care of that for you. We have
we have some V's right now.
I was gonna say, and I'm sure Caitlin's around. We can get this done.
Yeah.
Right
So
now.
if you want to do it live, we can just do it live. We can all watch it in the test.
I say we stream it live and then we
Stream it
critique
live.
them.
And you'll have, and the FCC database will get upgraded. Will get updated by Thursday, Friday, the latest this weekend. Boom. No more temp AG.
There you go.
I think she might consider it.
I've been doing pretty good on the practice tests. So,
Well, if you need us to set up a session, there's Steve over there is actually a VEC, and we have Daniel. We have, I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. Caitlin says she's around.
Who's
so there you go. There's enough. There's enough VEs there that could.
I was gonna say,
make
yeah,
us have a whole
Plasma
session.
and Jason.
he can't test me.
You
All
just
right,
let
hold on.
us know how we could help.
I have to stop everything. All right. Apparently, Scout 75's birthday was at the end of August. All right. We'll get you next year, buddy.
The Fisher Price radio is in the mail.
Yeah.
Dora the Explorer.
I was gonna say the door.
Oh, I'm gonna say the
radio.
Dora backpack for his hiking adventures.
Yeah, but
Nice.
I don't. How did we get into satellites? I don't even know.
So I just had an HT and I was in the backyard, called into the ISS, couldn't hear myself because I was doing half duplex, not full duplex. And somebody came back and I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like super adrenaline rush. Oh my God, it worked. Somebody called me back.
Now what I do?
That is a great rush. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. It's a
it's-
great motivator.
It's insane. So she has her tech license, and at the time I was like, oh, you should try, because she was listening as well, thought it was really cool, but no, I don't want to do it. And then after she got her first contact on satellites, it was just like the same adrenaline rush. She just took straight to it, and the speed, not having to rag chew with folks and just kind of contest on every single pass. It was just like field day for her, except, you know, every time there was a pass, it's just like field day again. You're trying to make
It's like 3 a.m. and she's like, "Hey, come on, we gotta go. We gotta go. We'll be here in a second."
So this week, actually yesterday, was it doesn't matter. It was this week where I walked upstairs and went, guess what? Mitch 80HJ, he's giving out grid squares. You should have seen her run downstairs to her radio. Ice cream bucket around.
That's awesome.
I love it.
One state in the United States to get for my work, all states on satellite, and that's Hawaii. So actually, when somebody said they were in the Honolulu, airport, I really thought about commenting and saying,
"There you go, Ham Radio 2.0. He's in Honolulu right now,
he's
so
he's going to be on that island."
like
I don't know.
that's
Is
how my
there a
brain
lot?
works.
Yeah, I wonder how many satellite operators there are in the over in Hawaii. I don't think I've heard them on the birds before.
There's not many, which is the problem, and
Right.
I missed my opportunity. I didn't know that Hawaii was having their contest. That would have been my first opportunity back in July.
Right?
And I found out like the day after they were done.
Oh,
that
But I'll
sucks.
get there eventually.
Another thing she did was during the first week in July, there's the 13 Colonies event.
Yep.
Yeah.
For HF. So this year they had all of the states also on satellites, and there was a top satellite operator award. Well, we were both the K2D station, but I was working for some of it, and she was on basically every single pass.
Excellent.
So she
That's
was
awesome.
the top satellite operator.
Top op.
Yep.
What was it when you
Congratulations.
guys? Because you guys blew me away when someone said, "Yeah, they're big into POTA, but they do a lot of sat contact." And again, so most of us automatically assume no, POTA is HF, local 2 meters, 652, maybe some 6 meters, but you guys are jumping leaps and bounds and making contacts through the POTA program. Why don't you explain a little bit about how you do that and how much activity is out there?
Hey, before you do that, why don't we play this clip? I've got this queued up. No, it's good. It's all good. All right, so here we go. Let me know if you can't hear it. I'm not looking at the screen, so if you can't hear it, just yell at, "Hey, the audio is not working."
N2 NWK, this is KC1 MEB FM 19.
KC1 MEB, NWK, Fox 519.
73.
KC1MEB and 2FYA FN41. Good morning, B.
And 2FYA, good morning. I'm in Fox Mike 19.
USL. Good evening.
Like a boss.
She's a pro. She is a pro.
MEB, Whiskey Alpha 2, Zulu, Quebec, X-Ray, Echo Lima 87.
KC1 MEB, FM19, QSL.
KC Whiskey Alpha 2, Zulu, Quebec, X-Ray, N2FYA FN41. Peter. Yeah, good morning, John. Good morning, Dell. And the zillion's still there. MEB, KB1HY, FN31.
KB1HY, FM19, QSL.
Roger, Roger. Florida, Fox Mike 18, Fox Mike 18. KC1 MEB, Kilo 2, Mike Juliet Papa, Fox and number 30.
That was my first contact with him.
That was awesome, guys.
You're working it like a pro, and you've been
Like
doing it
a
for
boss.
Bean, how long?
I started doing satellites in December of last year. Yeah, December, just before my birthday. So it's only been a year that I've been doing it. But I
Never would have known that.
I don't know what it is. Like I remember a call sign. So the reason I was able to activate the POTA park in 4 minutes on a satellite is I was giving out a different grid square. So in satellite operations, you get grid squares. It's not just a park. Even though I was still in a park, I didn't give the park number because the pass, sometimes it can be 4 minutes. If it's a linear sat like RS-44, it's a lot longer, but on an FM pass, it's quick. You have to do an exchange quick. There's no rag chewing, not at all. Sometimes I'll occasionally say hi to somebody, but not typically. Normally it's just like, all right, 73, bye.
There's no CQ POTA. It's
Right.
exchange.
Yeah, don't ask me about the weather.
Yeah.
We need to ask Mike, because K at MRD, because I don't know what his record is for activating a park, but if you've activated a park in 4 minutes and it's on a satellite, that kind of takes the cake.
Yeah,
That's some talent.
Was it 2 days ago we went? A couple of days ago we went to a park, the Pavilion. Herd Park, and he was starting to call, and we were getting one of those annoying people that likes to tune up and just make noise over the top of you while you're calling.
This is on HF.
On HF, so it was a little different than the satellite. But I was like, I'll let you play today. As soon as somebody started that, I was like, give me the mic. And of course, I'm still using his call sign, but I ignore anybody that's annoying.
Absolutely, that's what I do.
That's what
Or I put them in my video and I point them out that they're pains in the tuchus.
4 minutes on a satellite pass. I wasn't expecting to get that park activated during that one pass, but I did.
So, on an average, how many passes can you get when you're at a park? Because I know that the orbits change quite a bit. And for those that aren't aware, basically, she's bouncing a signal off of something about a little bit bigger than this that's traveling 17,000 miles an hour.
Right. I was just going to say.
So, yeah, I mean,
yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I'm not going to hit you with it.
Antenna boy, bow, antenna.
Great.
Yeah, this is the antenna that I make him point.
All right, so descriptive video here. She's holding, it looks like an arrow.
That is an arrow.
Dual band antenna.
Yeah,
440, 220.
The boom.
2 meters.
The boom was custom made and drilled out because I'm not as strong as.
I was about to say, it looks like that. Why don't you make y'all full screen so that everyone can see the detail in that?
Absolutely.
There we go. Oh, that makes it a ton lighter. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's still got all the elements. You obviously have to make sure they're all tight because you don't want them loose. But this one was custom made for me by RJ. WY7AA.
Yeah.
And let me guess, that's about, what do you think? That's about 5 minutes to put together? 5-10 minutes real quick?
About 5 minutes.
They don't take it apart.
Oh no, we take it.
I was about to say. So is that the one with the duplexer built into it as well?
No. So we have one with a duplexer built in, and we used to use an HT, full duplex HT. It's the Kenwood D72, I think.
Yeah, D72.
Yeah. So that one requires the duplexer, but when we go out now, we take the 9700, and the 9700 has dedicated UHF and VHF antennas. So
very nice. Good.
Cable straight to each side.
Goes to this.
Oh, that's cool.
So no duplexer required.
So what do you think that thing weighs as compared to the other one?
It's probably
half the weight.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It definitely makes the arm feel better on the pass, because with the other one you start to get tired, especially on the sats that are higher up, like RS44 and A07. Those passes can be like 20-25 minutes, and you wouldn't think that holding an aluminum pole would be that bad, but when you're doing it for 20 minutes, it's
absolutely. And looks like RJ's Workshop, WY7AA's there, saying hello to you guys.
Yeah. Give him a shout out. Give him a shout out for if he has a website or anything for anyone interested in his products. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's honestly best investment. I love it.
Yeah, those are great antennas.
Any difference when you're operating the birds? FM versus sideband? Do you guys have a preference, or whether it's VHF, UHF? Do you mind the birds that are on low band or 10 meters? Any give us your preferences.
So it really depends. So when we go roving, which is normally to like rare grid squares, especially on the Cape, there's a grid square that's mostly water. There's a little sliver of land on the Cape that you can go to. So everybody wants that grid square. So when we go to that grid square, I will do every single pass, and you can get 20 passes in an hour. It really, maybe
really?
No, maybe not 20 in an hour. 20 in the day.
There you go.
Okay.
But birds are constantly flying overhead. There's a lot of them. You just have to check amsat.net. I think it is amsat.net.
Well, so there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. There's a app on Android called ISS Detector Pro. I think that's also available on iPhones, as well as we have a program running on our laptop that we hook up to the radio, Sat PC32, and both of those tell you when the satellites are coming over. And those aren't the only programs that tell you when satellites are coming by, but you can have evenly spaced satellites where they come by every half hour, 15 minutes, and they can get a big pause where there's nothing
happens.
Quite a while. And that's when you go eat, and then you come back to finish up the day.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Sorry.
So when you So when you guys are portable, are you using is it all freehand, or are you using like a pointing system like you were talking about, or when you're out portable,
tripod,
is he the tripod?
That's the antenna boy.
that's the rotator. To the left, sir. To the left.
Yeah. The only thing that we don't take that we have in our home setup is the antenna and the rotator. So that antenna you just saw is the antenna we bring with us, and I am the human rotator. The laptop that runs Sat PC, the radio, it's the same radio, the mic, everything else is the same. So whatever we're doing at home, same thing, except I have to point at the satellites and watch it on my phone as it goes by.
And what's your power? I'm sorry. Okay. No, finish your thought, please.
Oh, and also is the satellites going by, she has the radio cranked up enough so that I can hear it as well, and I can hear when I have the right polarization on the antenna. So you got to spin the antenna so that it matches whatever the orientation is as the satellite that's spinning going overhead or passing by. So when she's making contacts, she's got it loud enough so that she can hear it and I can hear it, and we're coordinated during the pass.
Yeah, and that's actually awesome. Confused people too. So even when we were doing the POTA meetup, people, they're not used to being able to hear themselves when they do like Parks on the Air. For me, it's just like, I'm like, why am I not hearing myself? But if you don't hear yourself when you're talking to a satellite on your radio, you're not getting in.
That's not a good.
So you have to be able to hear yourself.
Right.
So I think that's where my advantage is. I'm used to doing that.
Yeah.
Now,
so
what's
you
your
guys are going
power
to start
source?
doing this on YouTube, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be, yeah. I recorded it.
Yeah, awesome.
I finally got access to do that. So
Nice. We look forward to seeing that, and we'll put a link to y'all's YouTube channel in the description of this video and under the guest section, as well as RJ's workshop. We'll put a link down there for RJ stuff as well.
So a typical, we're going to call it an ant and bean adventure. The antenna goes in the back of the SUV. Some feed line. What about your battery source? What are you using to power up the Icom?
It's a 12 amp battery we got off of Amazon. It's the cheapest one you can get. I don't know the brand, but we have 3 of those because we don't want to run out of power when we're out playing. And the satellite rig, it's got the waterfall. It draws a little bit more power than the Xiegu. So we have HF that we play with when there's not a satellite pass, and then when there is a satellite pass, we tell everybody on HF we're going QRT for a little bit, do the satellite pass or 2, depending on how many there are, come back to the HF. And that's really how we do.
Okay.
We also have an inverter on the car just in case we need to charge the batteries.
Nice.
And what's your power
dedication
setting?
right there.
And what's your power setting then? So how much power? So for a guy like me who knows almost nothing, and other people who are listening, so you got your ICOM, you decided to go, hey, I'm going all for this. Now, when you set up, what's your power rating?
So on the IC 9700, the VHF side can go up to 100 watts. The UHF side can go up to 75 watts.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be shooting at a satellite with full power, not by any stretch. There are some satellites, P0101, that require a little bit more power to get into an HT at 5 watts, or some of the QRP radios to do linear birds. You can get in at 5 watts, no problem, and it's good because you want to share the power on the passband for the linear sets.
Mm-hmm.
On the FM birds, it's kind of a war zone, and we kind of shy away from FM birds unless we're
heavy congestion there.
So there's a lot of power that we've seen folks pump into those FM birds. We try not to participate in that, but there's a lot of, unfortunately, it's like a repeater in the sky. So you have the entire country almost trying to make contact on one repeater.
On one repeater.
So
everyone turns on their amplifiers.
Yeah. For X amount of minutes.
And you can desense those satellites also and make them go into a restart mode, which ruins it for everybody.
You see that on the IC 9700's waterfall. You'll see the sat just freak out, disappear, and then zip back up the pass band. And
no kidding.
Yeah, I can record a video and send it to you. It's kind of interesting. It's been happening a lot on CAS 4A, which is one of the linear sats. Mm-hmm. It's been happening a lot on just if you pump too much power into it, you're not. So the good thing about being able to hear yourself also, if you have enough power. So when we're out like doing parks on the air with the satellite, obviously I want to use as little power as possible because there's only so much battery. So that's kind of where I always try to use the lowest power possible.
Right.
To be heard.
So there's a question that we got in the chat. I have a question before we hit that. So what is the difference between a
Can you guys
linear
restart?
satellite and an FM satellite?
Molson was just outside working. He just tried to beat your 4 minutes and it didn't happen.
No. The satellite that he's working off of, Starlink, went down.
Joe texted me. He's like, "You all right, man?" I'm like, "My friggin' internet company." I got interrupted. So like, I was everything was lagging. So I said, "Okay, I'm going to reset my router," because they always say reset your router. Then nothing works. So I call him up. He's like, no, everything's good on our side. So he's like, let me reset your the radio receiver there, whatever it's called. And then magically after he resets it, it starts working again. He's like, yeah, it must have been something on your side. I'm like, you're an idiot. You just reset the damn thing and all of a sudden it works. And somehow it's my side.
That reminds me of when the October storm came and our line for the
we had just moved into the house and the hurricane came by power lines went down, cable lines went out. So when the power lines went down, cable lines got cut. We wrapped it up, put it by the side of the house. She calls Comcast. I probably shouldn't have threw out the name, but anyway, she
Comcast.
Cable
They don't
provider.
watch.
Listen,
Xfinity.
crap is fine. You can say crap.
She called the cable provider, and she was on the phone with them for about 15 minutes before she hands me the phone and goes, "You need to talk to them." I was like, "Okay." So I'm like, "Hello," and the guy goes, "I'm going to need you to reset the modem." And I was like, "Did my wife not tell you the cable was physically disconnected from the pole?" And it took me probably another minute to explain to him he needs to come out to the house.
You know what it is? Because they're reading out of a 3-ring binder, and it's a step process already been
right.
It's always the router's
Follow the
fault.
Pareto chart.
It's always the router.
They'll blame anything but themselves. And I tried to tell them, like, it's physically not on the pole. It's wrapped up next to my house.
Yeah.
They're like, are you doing this? I'm like, it doesn't matter what I do. There's no connection.
I'm holding the wire in my hand, sir. It's not connected to the house.
It's the Bluetooth cable modem, okay? That's the problem. It's the Bluetooth cable modem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Anyway,
listen,
so-
we have a question from Joe, but before we do, this episode was supposed to be sponsored by Comcast, but now obviously it's not. So there is a buy me a coffee link at the top if you choose to help us out. And
that
thanks
way we
a
can
lot.
afford internet.
Thanks
again.
a lot, Bean. So Shane, you had Joe's comment highlighted before. I don't want to distract from coming in the middle of it. Go ahead.
So first question is what's the difference between an FM satellite and a linear satellite for those that may be new to satellites?
So an FM satellite is basically a repeater in the sky. You're going to transmit on one band and you're going to receive on another band. What you want to do is you want to have either two radios or one radio that does full duplex where you can both transmit and receive at the same time.
Simultaneously. Yeah.
So that when you're transmitting, you're also listening on the frequency that the satellite's downlink is, so that you're getting into the satellite. You're not stepping on someone, and that you're actually reaching the satellite. So it's a repeater in the sky, dual band, or two bands, I should say, an uplink band and a downlink band. So that's an FM bird. Think of it again as a repeater in the sky. Only one person, one station can talk at a time. With a linear bird, which is they say that the FM birds are the easy birds, but they're only the easy birds because pretty much everybody has a radio that can get into them. With the linear birds, there's a pass band, a certain range of frequency on one band that you transmit up to the satellite on, and then there's also a range that the satellite downlinks on. So multiple stations can operate on that pass band as the satellite goes across the sky. It's much easier to get into that satellite because you can work a different portion of that pass band and still be able to make contacts with folks. Single sideband you're able to do, CW and FT4. So there's multiple ways to communicate on a linear bird.
Wow.
So are the linear sats, are they HF, or what band do they normally operate on?
Same bands as for the most part, same bands as the FM birds, where you have
the 2 meter 70 centimeter most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's on like is it the sideband of that, or is it just I guess I'm a little confused.
So on the linear birds, I believe it's lower sideband transmitting up the satellite, upper sideband as for the downlink on those linear birds, and they're inverting. So as you go up the band, as you're sending you uplink to the satellite, you actually have to go down the band as it's coming back downlink from the satellite. And the IC 9700 is a wonderful radio for satellite contacts because you can just plug your PC in, it'll control Doppler. And for those that don't know what Doppler is, basically is the satellites coming across the sky. On the UHF side, mostly, you have to adjust your frequency because it's going to change from the perspective of where you are and where the satellite is. If you stay on that frequency, that you're either listening or transmitting on, other folks are going to have to adjust to try and find you because of that Doppler shift.
That's cool. So Joseph asked, what percentage of your operating is FM versus linear? And I think you answered that, saying that you guys prefer the linear sats versus the FM sats.
For the most part. It really depends, though, because it depends also exactly where the satellite is. Like, you can get a 4-degree linear pass, but then have a 90-degree FM pass, which is like almost straight overhead.
Right.
So it really... I prefer linear.
Yeah, the frustration for folks that are just getting into satellites is that if you have the gear and you're doing an FM pass, especially if that bird is going right across the middle of the country, it's going to be very hard to get in. You're going to get frustrated. If you get a radio that is able to work a linear bird, there's a little bit higher learning curve when it comes to actually working the bird. But once you figure that out, you're able to get into every single pass. Every single pass is an opportunity.
I look forward to your video on that.
You got it.
I'm giving you content here.
Absolutely. Hey, hey, can you walk us
hang
through?
Hang on. Anime, it's the 9700. The ICOM 9700.
Yeah, ICOM 9700.
There you go. So with regards to that, okay, there's other questions that were scrolling way back up there. So I'm just going to real quick jump in on here.
Hit it. Yeah, hit it.
The question from N5SKT was, are you going to hit the real satellite that's in the sky, not the electronic one? He wants to know if you're going to do EME anytime soon.
That's a big expense.
I want to. Maybe next year for my birthday.
There you go.
I mean, to hit the moon and back, you got to have a lot of power, and you got to have some antennas that can participate. And we don't have that right now, so it's going to be a little expense, but someday.
But they will. Yeah,
they will.
I'll moonbound someday.
All right.
What else you got?
So that was the one question. I don't know. I'm looking. Hold on. I lost a few of them.
Yeah, KEO PBR.
Yeah. All right.
I can't see you.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So I have a question.
Sorry if
I have a
lost
question
it,
for you guys. I have a question. So last week, some guys in my local club, they are actually working and setting up doing satellites. And so you were talking, so I missed the whole section of it. Sorry. You were talking about your Yagi antenna that you built out of a measuring tape, right?
Yeah.
And so they built this helical sort of straw. I have a picture of it. And supposedly it's an omnidirectional that they don't have to like point it. They don't have to like, tell their husband or wife to move it like you do, like, have you guys tried that? Do you know how that is as far as effective compared to the Yagi? And
so there's some setups that will use those. I'm not sure which one you had seen, but the ones that are commercial are called, they call them egg beater antennas because they look like egg beaters. You have two of them and they're omnidirectional, so you don't have to have a rotator pointing, like you said. There are setups that use those successfully. I don't have any experience with it. We don't have any experience with it. But yeah, you can use those. They're circularly polarized, so that you don't need to turn them either. So you don't need to point them. You don't need to turn them. They'll just get whatever is coming in. You do have to crank up the power a little bit more, I think, on the 9700, because no longer are you pointing a Yagi at the satellite and you're putting all your power in that direction. It's going out in all directions, so you're going to need a little bit more power to get into the sats, and it's also to hear yourself.
I got a picture just to show you. Maybe the people in the stream want to just see, but this is the one that the guys locally built. I haven't asked them to use the picture, but I don't care. Facebook is public, so here you go. This is what they built.
Yeah, that looks like an egg beater.
Yeah, an egg beater. And okay, so obviously, just like every other thing, like HF and all that, there's different antennas, and some are more efficient than others. So, okay, cool.
I did just see someone come across asking about the ISS. I actually was making contacts on the ISS tonight.
That was it. That was the other one.
Yeah. That's an FM bird. I actually thought I made contact with a really rare place, but it turned out when I listened to the recording, because it was cutting off, I got the call sign wrong. So yeah, it wasn't rare.
The other tough thing with FM birds is that a lot of folks want to try it, and some of those folks are technicians like Bean is here, and they'll get on, they'll make a contact. They might be in a grid square that you actually need for your Gridmaster award. So if, for those that don't know about satellites and chasing grids, the U.S. is split up into grid squares. It's like 100-mile by 200-mile squares, and you give out your grid square when you're on satellite. So if there's somebody who's trying out satellites for the first time, they hop on and they're in a grid square that you don't have, chances are they might have just tried it to see if they could do it, and then they don't log the contacts, so the person on the other end
no.
get any credit for it.
Oh no.
Yep.
So I think there's a grid square in Southwest Texas. It's like super rare because it's in the middle of like Big Bend National Park. And I've been told by a couple different people that said if you get good at satellites, you should go out there and spend about 2 days, because everybody in the world is going to want to talk to you to get that grid square, because it's no one ever goes out there because it is so remote.
So how popular is this like satellite working? Is this like you're lucky if you make a contact, or is this like there's just people waiting and like you know?
So I could probably go make a contact now if there's a satellite overhead.
Yeah, there's
challenge accepted.
She said that so confident. She's like, guys, I love it.
Take the camera. Let's see it.
Yeah, right. Like just turn around and be like, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's regulars on the satellites where, you know, you have the Breakfast Club for the FM satellites. They're going across the Atlantic Ocean at 6 o'clock in the morning. So there's regulars on the satellites. Not nearly as popular as HF, because you can just HF rig and throw a wire up in the tree and you're good to go. Whereas satellites, you're either out there pointing, or you have a rotator and antenna up on top, and it's, I don't want to say it's more expensive, because folks can really get into their HF radios and their towers and their antennas and stuff. But unless you've tried satellites, you might not have felt that adrenaline rush that you get working a sat. And for anybody who hasn't, if you know someone that does work satellites, I would say ask them if you can try one time, or what you need to do to get into it, because it really is a rush when you make everything go right, and then you hear yourself coming off of a bird in the sky.
Yeah, that's my thing with working satellites, is how I wasn't prepared how fast paced it was. And you need to know your grid square that you're at, and you need to have that recorded, because, you know, my Mississippi brain, you throw me into having to think fast, I get stressed out.
The iPhone 97
really?
Actually.
That's not just the accent that sounds drunk, right?
Yeah, there you go. Have to go back to that equipment, but I do have a QSL card from a successful contact.
Very cool.
I love
New York.
Do you guys have a QTH set up? Like, do you guys have a rotor and all that set up at home?
You were messing with your internet had gone down, Daniel. They were discussing that. Yes, they do have an internet set. They do have it set up.
So I told you I want to redo the whole show. We're restarting from scratch.
No, go back and watch the beginning.
Okay, I'm just gonna let you guys take.
The thing that we didn't say was the 9700. Well, we did say that it was my Christmas gift, but she has her own ham shack in the other room, and that's where the 9700 is. So I have my shack here, which has got the HF gear, because I can play HF with my license, and she's got her shack that has the 9700, the rotator, and everything else in there.
And also, too, I guess we should point out, so the last 2 weeks, HF band conditions were crazy with the storms and everything. The birds are not affected by that. Correct? Is that a correct statement?
Yep.
So
except for when the Northern Lights messed something up.
Of course.
The CME that happened a couple weeks ago kind of messed with some of the birds for a little bit. And I don't know if this is the case or not, but Cavs 4A has been on and off since then, so that might be part of the problem. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
But overall, the HF guys can be complaining about the solar cycle, or we're in the lower doldrums, whatever, and SAT people are just making contacts left and right.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
When you're talking about something messing up the SAT contact, I found out, what's Mississippi made of? Bunch of trees. It's amazing how much a tree will kill the signal. You follow it, and you pass in front of that tree, and it just goes away, and then it comes back. Then there's a pine tree, and it goes away.
It's that pine tree attenuation.
You got to make an area.
So apparently,
we're moving on top of the mountain.
In a couple minutes or a couple seconds, there's actually been an 18-degree pass on the ISS.
I saw that. And then
KS1G.
That's KS1G.
Yep.
He's a regular of mine.
Yep. So, wow.
Well, here we are at the top of the hour. It always starts.
No. The first hour is clean. Then it goes downhill from there. Anyway, so Brian would like to know how many SAT contacts have you logged in the last year?
Okay, so if we're comparing stats, her stick is a lot larger than mine. Stand by.
Apparently, that's what she said.
Okay.
Oh,
and for those of you listening on the podcast, we are talking about antennas.
Podcast. Wow.
So I'm looking at around 652. And
holy cow!
Oh, you ain't hear nothing. She's at 1,368.
Oh, girl, you've been busy.
So she has a fan club.
So I made 1, 2, 3. I heard 4 people on the ISS today. I made contact with one of them. I tried to make contact with the other, but because it was an FM pass, kind of hard to do. But that's how many people I heard on the ISS pass tonight at 2252 Zulu.
So if there's a pass happening like in 18 minutes or 16 minutes or something like that, can we see this live? Is this possible, guys?
Get to drag a phone out, or
we could just go and click on the stream link from the other room.
Let's ask the people in the chat. Do you guys want to see them make a live contact on a satellite from their phone?
That'd be awesome.
Press 1. Press 1 in the chat, guys.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but
right? No kidding.
Well, here's the other thing. She has the YL voice, which also adds 3 dB to any signal, right? So it's automatically there. Daniel, I mean, you know this one because as soon as you drop those, you went from having this good of a breakthrough to here. So
yeah. And I just want to mention something. 1,368 contacts. That's like almost a fourth of what I've done since I was licensed in 03.
Yep.
I've only
she's killing it.
December.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's called an addiction. That's what that is.
That's not even including his. All right, let me go set up.
Go ahead. And just pop right back in.
I guess
absolutely.
It only took Joe 10 minutes to do fractions. I just want to say that 10 minutes to do fractions.
and from what we can tell, he didn't have to take his shoes off. Anyway, so being apparently RS-44 will be AOS. AOS. What is AOS?
This is
acquisition of signal.
There we go. Thank you.
There
was another question. Oh, good. I did click it. RS-44 will be AOS in a few moments.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's asking how many. Yeah, that's what he's setting up. How many grid squares have I worked?
Yeah, that's James down in West Virginia.
Let me see if.
And have you worked Delta Lima 88 or Delta Lima 89? Because that's the one that was down in South Texas.
Take a look because I do have my map. I don't know if I can.
Then I need to. I have to ask a very serious question before we watch this this satellite contact that you're going to make here.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the process A, B, C, D, E, F, G? So you're checking out a website, right? I'm going to assume you're seeing it. Do you take coordinates that are set and you from A to Z, how do you do the contact from getting prepped to doing the final contact?
Okay, so turn on my radio, obviously. Sit in my chair, turn on the rotator that's up on the roof, turn on my cat control.
Okay. No, but like, okay, yeah, we all do it. Radio, like,
you asked for the
computer.
list. You asked for the list.
And you shall receive.
She's very Pacific, isn't she?
Pacific.
I have worked 488 grid squares. 297 out of 488. 197.
So, Daniel, to answer your question, the orbits. There's a database that you download the orbit data from.
Okay.
He's in the other room, so I'm gonna go over there because he's on my radio.
You may want to
so that will tell your controller. So it will tell you what the passes are going to look like for the next X amount of days.
Okay.
All right, and guys, I think we're now in Bean's shack. This is Bean's shack right here.
All right, let's unmute her. Bean, you guys muted yourself, so I can't unmute you. So you have to unmute yourself. So let me try.
You're probably going to hear a little
good.
radio static.
There we go.
Which pass?
Well, everybody that's on this stream is used to hearing radio static.
Anyway, right.
So ISS is coming up.
This whole show is
just turned my radio's on. Everything's set. I use SAT PC 32. Okay. Oh, you can hear somebody. Hold on. Kilo Echo 8 Romeo Juliet uniform. Kilo Echo 8 Romeo Juliet uniform. This is Kilo Charlie 1 Mike Echo Bravo Fox November 31.
Can you put your rig audio up a bit?
Oh.
4HF, call it.
November 0 Juliet Mike. This is Kilo Charlie 1 Mike Echo Bravo Fox November 31.
November 8 Papa Quebec uniform. WA4H QSL.
She loves to yell.
Right.
I'll just make contact with him. WA4H. Oh, so see, this is the FM bird kicks in and out.
Victor Echo 2, Papa Mike Echo, Victor Alpha 3, Victor Golf Romeo, Fox November 25.
Two Canucks.
Yeah.
Papa Lima Echo FM 46. Papa Lima Echo, Victor Alpha 3, Victor Golf Romeo, Fox November 25.
Victor Echo 3 Golf Romeo. This is Victor Echo 3 Golf Romeo. This is Kilo Charlie 1 Mike Echo Bravo Fox November 31.
Papa Quebec uniform QSL.
That's good traffic.
Yeah.
That's
Victor Echo 3 Golf Romeo. This is Kilo Charlie 1 Mike Echo Bravo Fox November 31. FMs are harder. Oh, I got him. I'll get him. N2FYA, this is KC1 MEB FN 31. Not used to it being this loud. This is on the ISS right now.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that's usually a longer pass, I think.
Is it gone? It's 19 degrees.
So while this is happening, their rotator is tracking it?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, the rotator is pointing.
FYA, this is KC1 MEB. It keeps clicking on and off.
Oh, Juliet uniform.
Kilo Echo 8, Romeo Juliet uniform, KC1 MEB, FN 31, QSL.
And it was another YL.
FN 41.
N2 FYA, this is KC1 MEB, FN 31. Kilo Echo 8, Romeo Juliet uniform, QSL from FN 31. On and off, waiting for the QSL.
We got your back. She heard you, you heard her.
It's on film.
Right? It's live.
Live.
So you're here in where are you guys located?
We're in East Hampton, Connecticut. Sorry, I
Okay.
can't really hear you guys over the radio.
That's okay.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Kilo Echo 8, Romeo Juliet Uniform, KC1 MEB, FN31 QSL.
Her name is Grace.
Yeah.
N2 FYA, KC1 MEB, FN31. Where'd everybody go? Kilo Charlie 1, Mike Echo Bravo, Fox November 31.
So give up on this one and do RS-44.
Yeah, RS-44 is a much better pass.
And it's a
linear bird. So that one.
Okay.
So you're switching from the IAS to another satellite?
Yep. And I do that on SAT PC 32. It automatically tells my controller to change directions, and I can spin the dial. And
so while it's pointing to
on the pass band for folks that are making contact while calling QSL or QSL.
Cool. I haven't got to hear the linears, so.
Yeah, turn it up. Can you guys hear that?
Oh,
yeah, loud and clear.
Sierra, Juliet, Fox Mike 1-2, how copy? Okay, so one more time, thank you.
Oh, he's trying to work somebody.
November 3, Delta Whiskey Bravo. Jay, it was great tying up with you. I'll look for you later on.
You gotta
rag chewing on the satellite.
Rag chew on him.
My colonoscopy was really comfortable this morning.
Oh, no, he's saying 7-3. Where am I going? Let's see.
Make out W8LR, try it again.
W8LR, this is KC1 MEB, Fox November 31. Oh, what'd you do? Well, see, he touches the radio and it breaks.
Don't touch the radio.
My radio.
W8LR, this is KC1 MEB and Fox November 31. Echo Mike 79, gotcha. Thank you so much. 73.
Damn.
This is awesome.
There we go.
Wow, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's wow.
Great.
All right, now I did it.
That's awesome.
It's a good.
So real quick question, Grace. That's from Ham World Online.
KE8RJU.
That's Grace. She's the one of the girls that they build the Go boxes.
Yeah.
The Shack in a Box.
I believe so.
There you go, chat. Okay, there you go.
I did it.
Here first on Ham Radio Clubhouse. We did
There you
this
go.
first. We did in the house.
We actually did live ham radio.
Yeah.
And
First time.
wait,
First time.
Since she's already on YouTube, she can't come after us.
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah,
That was really
it's a lot of fun. I'm going to go back in the other room, so I'm going to shut this one down. I think Ant is still over.
Yeah, he's there. We got him.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
We'll see you there.
All right.
Shut that down.
That was awesome. That was really cool.
Quick, Ant, while she's on her way over here, all right? How cool is that? Just really cool, right?
Yeah,
That she can just
it's cool.
pop in there and just go.
So the funny thing is so as you can see, the shacks aren't that far apart. So this is also where I work, and sometimes I'll be on conference calls and I'll be speaking and have to mute my mic real quick because you can hear her screaming in the other room.
They're like, what's this Fox Nancy 31 stuff?
Nice.
We finally did our first remote contact. I was in the Stop and Shop parking lot, and A20HD was roving a couple weeks ago, and I really needed the grid square. So I had Ant put his phone on speakerphone, And I'm in Stop and Shop, just screaming, "This is KC1MEB, FM 31."
Can you imagine her being inside the bread, over by the bread, and everyone's looking like, "What the hell?"
I had people looking at me a little weird, but anything to get a good spare. It's all
listen, if it's ugly and it works, it still works, right?
Exactly.
The things you do for a contact, and like we say around in POTA, a contact is a contact. So just like in the sat world.
The worst part, if I start doing satellites, I know the first contact I say is gonna be like, "This is ground control to Major Tom. Take your pills." You know, like.
The young kids, the young kids don't get that.
Really? Do we have young kids? If there are, just David Bowie song, you know, Space Oddity, all time classic.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's fantastic.
And just to let you guys know how much of a competitive person she is, she actually came over here and she whispered in my ear, "What time is it, Zulu?" And I'm over here logging her contacts that she was making in the other room, so she doesn't forget them.
I might have wrote the time down. I don't even know. I just don't
know. If we didn't turn the dial on her, she would have got one more, Ant. Okay.
You know what? Wait. So Leah's got Becca log. All right. Bean has Ant log.
Yep.
Nice.
Very
cool.
So
that's
Vern
awesome. Thanks for doing that live. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. Great impromptu. Definitely.
That was the first live contacts ever made on the Clubhouse. So.
Yeah. All this time I thought we were going to do it on HF voice or, you know.
All right. It was the first voice contact during a live stream. Okay.
On satellite.
On satellite.
FT8 doesn't count.
Get out.
It's still Ham Radio.
Get out. Get out.
because Beer Snack does FT8 the entire stream.
Yeah.
I can do FT4 on satellites too, which is fun. But
now is that a little bit more challenging? Is that more challenging, Bean? Doing FT4 on satellite, is that more challenging?
I don't think it's more challenging. There's just not as many people that do it than voice.
Okay.
Like there's more people that do voice on satellites than FT4.
Beer Snack, how many points would a satellite FT4 contact be for the FT8 off?
It depends. If it's in the United States, it's a single point. If it's under 20 watts, then it's an additional point. But if it's FT4, it's 50%.
Even though it's off of a satellite?
Satellite's got to be a multiplier.
Right?
It's
a
not
time
the rules.
4 multiplier.
Yeah,
it needs to be in the rules. We change them every week.
Right.
I changed them right now. What are you talking about? I changed them over in the middle of the stream.
So do you guys have a video, like Bean, do you have a video on your QTH setup with the rotor and everything like that? Or is that something you're going to work on? Because I'd love to see that.
I can make a video for you guys, definitely.
You have a YouTube channel now.
Put it on your YouTube channel, Bean.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That's why you have a YouTube channel.
We're good at some good ideas.
And then we're going to take it, and then we're going to take, when you say it's out and here's the link, we're all going to take that and we're going to just retweet it out and push it through, Instagram and Facebook and whatever, man.
Yeah, well, he also built a box on the outside of the house for grounding. Why are you looking at me so funny?
I wasn't sure where you're going with that.
Like what? Yeah,
She must have a hell of a honeydew list for you all the time.
I'd love to see two videos. Just a suggestion: one on the actual setup, like the hardware side of it, like your rotor, your antenna, that stuff, and then the other one would be the actual like software and like that part of it.
I agree.
From behind me.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like FT8. Like there's a lot of videos out there. Like you have your Signal Link, your WSJTX, and all that. That's the hardest part most people have, and there's a lot of people looking for those videos. And so if you do the software side, like you're downloading the file, like Shane said, and everything, I think that would be awesome because I love to try it, and I know it's going to cost a bit of money, but hell, I think it's worth it. I think it'd be a hell of an experience. So.
You'll have a tower you can put it on.
I'll have a couple of towers to put it on. So guys, Brian in the chat reminded us of something, and I'd like to make a motion before it gets too late to have Bean and Ant has voted as members into the Ham Radio Clubhouse.
Second.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. All in
Absolutely.
We got
favor.
a second.
All in favor.
All in favor.
Yeah.
All in
Aye.
favor.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey,
Thank you,
Mike,
Mike.
look at that. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Mike
Mike.
bought
you,
us some
Mike.
beers, and we got 2 new members now, part of the Ham Radio Clubhouse. So thank you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you guys.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you guys. That was a lot of fun.
Now,
We'll
kinda
send,
like-
you,
it's
the, we'll
kinda
send you the Venmo for the dues.
All
We're
right.
not done yet.
I was gonna
I
say,
got my phone
just-
back yesterday.
activate POTA using Whiskey 2 HRC on the birds and call it good.
there you go.
Oh,
Thank
look
you
at
very
that.
much.
Burn.
Holy shit.
Every week.
Burn.
Yeah, so
Damn.
just in case you didn't know, so membership at the clubhouse is kind of like taxes. You have no choice. So welcome to the club.
Vern, thank you so much for the generosity, buddy. We appreciate it.
If anybody doesn't know Vern, he's been on Twitter requesting stickers. So if you have any weird stickers you want to send him, certainly anonymously send them his way.
There you go.
He's got some from us.
I like that one.
How weird.
How weird
Snack,
can we go?
make
No,
it weird.
how weird can we go?
Let me tell you,
I mean,
so far, what I've got to know about Vern, the weirder, the more he's going to like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Done.
Very true.
He may
So-
not post it on Twitter, but he'll like it.
Lindsay Hicks gets a sticker pack because I still haven't done that. And Vern, weird sticker. All right, we good. All right, Secretary, you wrote that down?
I'm glad you reminded me of that because I had misplaced the list of where I was supposed to send stickers to, and I just found it. So I will get those out this week, guys. I apologize. I've been slipping.
Steve, do you have
Shane,
a?
wait.
Do you have?
Let's take a bet,
hey,
Shane.
hey.
Am I going to get the QRZ contacts in before you get those out in the mail?
Highly likely. Highly likely.
Yes.
I'm
Let's,
off. I have one more midnight. I have tonight and then one more midnight shift, and then I'm off for 4 days. So I will get them out before Friday.
Steve, do you have a copy? Do you have a link to their YouTube? You both have a YouTube channel, eh?
It'll
It's
only
in
be
the description
There.
of the video.
There's
We have it in the description.
We both
It's
have
in the description.
While you were gone, we added RJ's workshop. We added both of their YouTube channels.
Right
Awesome.
now,
So
our
guys-
YouTube channels are pretty sparse, but we'll get more content on there.
Mine
If
has
you guys
been-
are,
Everybody just needs to hit that bell notification and hit all. That way, then they don't have to go and check your channel. They'll just get a notification that says, "Hey, Bean uploaded a new video today."
so if you guys are watching on the
Well, we
replay, if you're watching live, if you're listening to the podcast, check the description. I think they're gonna have some fantastic videos coming out. I know I'm looking forward to it because another rabbit hole to go down in the ham radio world. So
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Bet, Caitlin.
That's okay. My next my general has got he bought a controller with an antenna, so I can sit in my car and push a button, and the antenna will go up.
Tar Heel antenna.
Nice.
Nice.
Very good.
And then he's got to
What
buy
about
me a new radio.
So what about the those elk antennas, the log periodics? Do those work the same? Can you use those? 'Cause I've seen so many people use the arrow antennas, but there's also the elk antenna, which is also a 2 meter 70 centimeter, but it's only one set of elements. You don't have to rotate it for polarity.
There's some people that swear by them. We haven't tried them. We actually have an elk-like antenna. It's not made by elk, but we had some free money on Amazon and got one, and we haven't tried it. But
I thought she walked out with a ladder.
Oh wow!
the difference is
There you go.
there's only one antenna port on this guy, whereas there's 2 on the other one. So basically, you're feeding this with one cable versus 2. Haven't tried it.
So that's a driven element for both.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Beer snack, have another one, my friend.
I'm gonna have to make a trip to the fridge.
Well, I have to jump out from you guys. I will continue to listen, but I've got to get ready and go to work. for my shift this evening. But I'm sorry, Bean and Ant, it's been a pleasure having you guys on tonight, and and the rest of you guys, I will be listening. But thank you guys so much. Thanks to the chat. I will see you guys next time.
I'm gonna put
Shane.
Guys, what do you think if I put an Ant and Bean? Are you guys cool if we invite some of our viewers on if they have any questions to ask you guys live? So I'm gonna put a link.
You got to correct that. Bean and Ant.
Yeah, Bean and Ant.
Listen,
Bean and Ant.
So while we're doing that, I want to go back to the antenna deal a little bit and talk about how I got this QSL card. So what Bean and Ant has is an ideal setup. They got the rotator and the antennas and the radios and all that good luxury stuff. This broke country boy ain't got all that. I made this contact off of my 2-meter beam that's on top of my 40-foot tower pointing at the horizon. And I done that with a 440 uplink and a 2-meter downlink. So I was transmitting UHF out of my VHF antenna, and I still made freaking contact. So what I'm getting at is, even if all you got is a Baofeng or some couple handhelds or something, give it a try. You can do it on a rubber duck.
So AJK says, Molson, if you start working satellites, your cows will get mutilated by aliens.
Very good.
Cue the what was that? Wow, shoot, what was that show? X-Files.
Yep.
All right, so Bean just walked into the other room, and she walked out with a giant picture frame.
There are a bunch of QSL cards that she's made, and we've sent out to folks. One thing that we found doing satellites is if you send out QSL cards, a high percentage of those come back. So I'm not sure what the luck is on HF, and I've heard that it's not so great. But SatOp, if you send them an envelope with your address and your QSL card, we've got a high percentage come back.
Yeah, these are all QSL cards from different people.
Nice.
So Wild Cascadia Radio is asking, can you do this with 2 Baofangs? I think I know the answer, but
absolutely,
you can. Who did a video like that? There's somebody who did a video with 2 Baofangs trying to do satellites. I forget who it was. Was it Frank?
Yeah. No, I don't think Frank was using.
Yeah, I
Frank?
think it was. Tank,
yeah,
speak up.
Yeah. And I know Don N5SKT, he had some questions about EME, if that's the correct abbreviation of it or whatever. Don, if you're in, hit the link, come on and ask. I don't know if we covered that in our conversations.
Well, wait, hold on. According to the ISO pronunciation of the word, it's EME.
I didn't. It's wow. I hate you.
Don, here, I'll take care of that for you. There we go.
So we got James, November 6th, November Romeo Delta, stroke Victor Echo 3. He's an American posing as a Canadian. We're going to bring him in, and
aren't we all?
He has some questions. Yeah. What's up, James? How are you?
Hey, James.
All right.
James.
Good to see everyone again. My audio okay this time?
You're better this time, yeah.
It sucked, but it's okay.
We can't all have your voice, Joe Brad.
I'm sorry.
Well, half a bottle of whiskey will get you there. All right. So
I got some of that. Maybe I should try it. So I have a question for Bean. Can you come up to Ontario and show my wife and maybe convince her to get a ticket?
I've been asked that by a lot of people. I'm a rare anomaly, I've been told. Most people have to beg their wives to go play radio, and me, it's the exact opposite. I'm like, where are we going today?
Yeah, it used to be, what are we doing today? And now the question is, what park are we going to today?
Nice. I like that.
Which park or which grid square? Yep.
Yeah. My wife has really jumped on the POTA bandwagon because up here in Ontario, she used to go to all these parks, and I never wanted to go to them because what am I going to do looking at trees all the time? But now that POTA is a thing, and I upgraded my license this year, I've been doing POTA, so she's pretty happy with that.
Do you let her get on microphone at all?
No, she doesn't want anything to do with it really. I keep telling her I need her to record my CQ message at least, because then I'll get the pile up in like 2 seconds. But the problem is, like, I've already had people tell me my recorded CQ message doesn't sound like me, so they get confused. Like, are you the POTA station?
James, you ham fishing again?
Ham fishing.
I don't fish for sure.
You should honestly. I would be happy to talk to her and just tell her, you know, it was a chance. Like when he started, I didn't want anything to do with it. I was like, this is a bunch of old guys that are grumpy at the club we joined.
They're not all grumpy.
They're not all grumpy.
I'm lucky. My dad and I got our call pretty close together, and then my mother got her call a year after we did. So I've always been around female hams. When I was a kid, I didn't realize how rare they were.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, the club really, they accepted me, and I was like, this is really cool. And that's kind of how I got into it. So maybe I could try to convince her.
I'm gonna show her this video on replay, especially that live satellite contact. That was awesome.
I'll be looking. I'll post more.
Awesome. Thanks, James. So where do you guys plan to take your hobby from here? Like, so what's your next thing that you're looking towards? And I don't know if this question was asked before. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
But like,
you're right on time.
You're making contacts. So what's the next step? Like, so where does it go from there in satellites? Is there a next step?
So right now I'm trying to fill out my grid squares to my home station, but I'm also filling, like, I drove to 7 different places, different grid squares. After that, this guy's got to retire, because then we're going to have to get an RV, and I'm going to have to do a reverse grid master map.
Yeah. Okay. The idea is to get a grid master award, you have to work every grid in the continental United States. And she's doing that now. It's coming along nice, getting nice and green, that map of the United States. There's a couple of guys who rove, and roving is going to a grid square that's not your QTH grid square, to give out other grids. And if you want to work for the reverse grid master award, you rove all the grids, all 488 grids. And that's going to take some time and effort and money, but in retirement, that's what we plan on doing.
So does anybody care about grids in Canada, or is it just the U.S.?
I think there's a map for Canada. Well,
here's the deal. My wife and I
so much I want to say right now.
We're working on a plan for me to activate all the provinces and territories. And so Nunavut has never been activated.
With POTA. With POTA, right?
Yeah, exactly, POTA. Yeah, Dan, you can ignore this. We know you don't care about POTA. But so what I'm wondering is, before I fly to Nunavut to activate POTA, there happens to be a park right beside the airport. You can walk to it. Should I get into satellite? And, like, are people gonna like nail me if I activate the grid up there?
Oh, well, I want all the grids. Yeah.
Yes. So the Grid Master Award is for the continental United States, but if you don't have that grid yet, or it's a rare grid, folks will still hunt you because they don't have that grid, and it counts toward the VUCC award. So when you get up to 100, you get the VUCC award at 100, and then you keep getting stickers on top of that for every 25 that you get. So if there's grids that aren't active up in Canada because there's nobody there, definitely start roving up there, and folks will hunt.
So is there a map that tells us where the rare grid squares are by any chance? Because I'll rove, when I go do parks, I'll drive weird ways if I need to.
Gridmaster Heat Map on Twitter is the place to look. He's got, I think it's KE0PBR, if I'm not mistaken. He's got grid maps for all over the world.
So Joseph has a good question, and I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't sure if it was a dumb question or not. But what is the max range that you can get with a sat contact?
Whatever the bird can see. So depending on which bird it is, RS-44 and AO7 are much higher up, so their footprint's going to be a lot larger on the world, and you have to get the max range, one contact on one side of the footprint and one contact on the other side of the footprint. And I think some of the distance records are like Arizona to Spain. I think, I'm not sure. VE1CWJ, he's got a bunch of records. He's up in grid square FN85. But really, you just want to be able to have another station at the very other side of that satellite's footprint to get that distance record. I'm not sure what the actual numbers are.
So it's going to be possible for you to get Hawaii using something like that.
RS-44 is probably going to be my best bet. I check. There's a website you can do sat matches, so you can see from my grid square to other sat matches.
Yeah, RS-44 record is 4802 kilometers, 8,402 kilometers, says RJ's workshop.
Yep.
And you're drinking soda?
Shut up.
Hey guys, what's the origin? I know you said a grid square is basically 100 miles by 200 miles, but is there any other? Who created it and who said it should be 100 by 200? Is there something to do with the latitude and longitude of, or something to do with our Earth and how it, what brings in the grid square? I mean, who created the whole grid square?
So we're definitely no experts to answer that, but it does have to do with latitude, longitude. As you go up the grid squares, they start to get smaller, just because of the longitudinal lines. But yes, it's basically just the world map cut into squares. And actually, if you've uploaded to Logbook of the World, you have the place in the TQSL program to put in your grid square. And if you want to be real generic about it, you can put in 4 characters. If you want to be a little bit more specific, you can put in 6, and you can even keep going further.
Hammers does that. Hammers software does that for Proto.
Yep. And so when Hammers does it, I don't know if it's 100% accurate. It just reads off of the POTA website.
Okay.
As far as where the park is actually listed. So you could be in another grid square and just Hammers will pull in what's listed on the POTA website.
It's a vague reference to generally the center of the park.
Yeah. So
and up here in Canada, that's really problematic. Some of these parks are bigger than countries in Europe.
Yeah,
so one of the things
track
when
of your
you're
grid square is important.
When you were talking, James, or when you're talking about going up to Nunavut, it's about $1,800 flight each direction for a 2-hour flight, 3-hour flight.
Nope.
No,
About $4,000 with the equipment weight.
Well, are you talking about round trip or each way?
Round trip, 2 people with equipment, about $4,000.
Yeah, my brother-in-law works for the government up there. It's about $1,800 each direction. And when you go there, multiply your food costs by about 8 to 10. It is so expensive up there. And so when you go, do it all. Satellite,
that's what I'm thinking,
HF,
right?
POTA, like it's not even worth to go.
Is there a summit on Baffin Island?
I don't know. I could ask him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
that's
very
the thing.
expensive.
If I'm going, because it's a once in a lifetime trip, right?
Yeah.
And you can there's only like 3 weeks in the year that you can do it without being possibly blizzard in.
Oh, it's like minus 60 up there in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And you'll go half the year with no light and half the year with only light.
That probably is going to be my last place in Canada to activate.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to have to do a fundraiser to get it done.
All right. So with the grid squares, all right. So the questions were like, what makes up a grid square? Well, RJ says it was 2 degrees latitude and 1 degree long, or 2 degrees long and 1 degree. He can't remember. And then John, our buddy from across the pond here, Amateur Radio on the Air, says A grid square is 2 degrees latitude and longitude. So it's apparently 2 degrees in each direction. I don't remember why they started it, but it's just a giant grid square pattern on the Earth that they did. And then they subbed it down, and then they made it smaller. And,
it's actually multi-level.
And if I'm not mistaken, they're going down to, they want to go down to 10 characters.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You get 6 at the most out of me.
I'll just be happy when I get them at the 2-character level, and I've got the whole.
I think somebody had asked at some point. I think my farthest contact was Germany on satellites.
Nice.
Good. Excellent.
JO, and that's confirmed in Logbook of the World. JO 54.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any questions in the chat for our guests tonight? Like, this is just a great opportunity to ask any questions about SAT work. Caitlin says,
a great idea.
So yeah, there's a general comment here, but this is awesome. Go ahead, Daniel.
Caitlin, KD9 Whiskey Hotel Oscar says, why do I feel like this is a trend in saying that we would never get into radio? Then we find something that we love and we are hooked.
I think she's saying the royal we as in YLs.
No, like we as in like you sit there, you go, hey, I don't think I'm ever gonna do this. This doesn't interest me. Oh, that's pretty cool. I can talk on the repeater. Oh, I can go to a park and play in the air and do this and talk to other countries, or I can aim an antenna in the sky and I can talk to people across the country. You know, like you find out.
I think that's representative of most things. Like we're as humans, we pass judgment or make decisions very quickly. Like I have friends who are like, "Oh, you do amateur radio? You're a geek, ha ha ha!" And then they come to my shack and I make a contact with Italy, and they're like, "What the heck? That was the coolest thing I've seen," you know. And that's typically the trend, is where we just sort of pass something up before we even know what the heck we're talking about. So, and I'm guilty of that 100%.
So yeah, so it's a hobby of hobbies, you know. And you could turn around and say, I'm not going to get interested in this, and then you get people that are, you know, strictly packet, like they get involved in packet. There's people that get involved in, you know, satellites. There's EME. There's just people that are doing weak signal VHF. You know, like all these little things. Like, ooh, I could pick up this little tiny signal out of the air from like all the way over there, and it's amazing. Oh, how can I find out who owns each amateur satellite and who launched it? Isn't it the N0? Oh my God, what's that website?
I thought AMSAT had that.
Yeah, AMSAT keeps track of that. There's other websites too.
Okay. What we got?
The wrong answer would be any operator. No one owns a satellite.
Yeah. And to Caitlin's point, by the way, what got me interested, this was the first big card I got. I don't know if you can read the dates. My old call sign.
Awesome.
Nice.
This is what, as a kid, this was a packet contact. As a kid, getting something from Turkey in the early 90s was just crazy. So I managed to keep my original. I didn't have very many of them, but I've got them. And but Caitlin, that's what got me going as a kid, was just collecting. I was a stamp collector when I was a kid too. So anytime I got a cool stamp on a QSL card, it was a twofer.
Nice.
So I have a question. So you know, Elon Musk is going to be launching. He's putting up this grid, and they're supposed to stay. What is it? Geotrack? Like they're supposed to stay in sync with the Earth. Is that it? At one point,
geostationary.
Would that be like advantageous to see if like there's like say the ARRL or something like that would coordinate that, like say 2-3 over the continental US have a repeater system on it, or is that even something of, like that would be interesting, or is that like?
So yeah, AMSAT's responsible for any sort of amateur radio satellite launches, and they're they have a whole bunch of different ideas trying to get satellites out into space. It's very expensive to launch a satellite. So between building it and actually getting it up there, as well as all the development and whatnot, they put a lot of thought into it. There's smarter folks than I that are volunteering on all of this to get more satellites up there. It's not easy. And there's been a couple of recent setbacks, but at the same time, those setbacks have created a new challenge for SatOps. So like AO109 was supposed to be a linear bird that everybody was able to work, but the failure is now that you need to put a whole lot of power into that satellite. Like this one's the exception to the rule, which is you put as much power into it as you possibly can and hope that you can hear something. So CW, you gun it at full power at that satellite to try and hear somebody making a CW contact. FT4, another protocol where you're not supposed to go very high on any of the regular linear birds, but with AO109, because it's deaf and it doesn't have a whole lot of power going out, you crank it up. And that was a recent satellite that was launched. I kind of went off on a tangent there, but yeah, AMSAT's the ones that are responsible for all satellite launches, and if they can piggyback on another launch, they would be more than willing to.
So I guess Joseph's saying Starlink is not geostationary, but there's supposedly he says that QO 1-100 is a geostationary ham satellite over Africa and Europe. That's interesting. I never heard about that before. I'd have to look that up.
Yes, Shane, there is. It's called Ant Mark 1.
So Shane is asking, is there a portable rotator you can build to go portable? Being an ant, I want the proper order now. Being an ant, have you guys any? I know Joe shared something earlier, but you guys aware of any of those?
It's very portable.
So, I mean, folks have self-propelled.
It's self-propelled. Yeah.
Yeah, folks have homebrewed their own. I don't know of any that you bring out with you. There's some folks that actually bring out the full Leo sat pack and the Yaesu G550 rotator with them, but I'm not positive about a portable one.
Very good.
Commercial.
Now, a question about that. When you set that up, you had to basically teach it where, say, due north is, and then it's doing everything relative to that, right?
Yeah. So
if you're portable, you'd have to reset it every time, theoretically.
Yeah, the one that's attached to the house, we told it where 0 degree north was, and then every pass it's relative to that 0 degree. So if you were to go portable and bring a rotator out with you, you'd have to recalibrate it to know exactly where it was pointing.
So the link that I has shared a couple times in chat for that rotator kit, it's funny that we're having the show tonight because I had a friend that he randomly texts me when he finds something interesting, and he texted me last night and he's like, "You think we can build this?" And he's wanting to buy a couple kits and us build it together. And I was like, I'm not really going to use that. But then after the show, I'm like, okay, I got to get back into satellites. So maybe I will. But it was featured in Amateur Radio magazine. Let's see when that was. I'll get that later. Volume.
You'll get that later.
Something.
You get that.
Yeah, I can't read it. I don't know where it's at, but it's got a price list in Australian dollars. Australian is higher than U.S. dollars, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
Lower.
Well, they got 3 different projects, anywhere from $102 total kit for Australian dollars, down to $54.50 for Australian, and then up to $512. So.
All right. So the comment that was on the screen is Antenna Boy. The satellite is over there. Bean. I believe that so it's going to have to happen. And Joe, we'll talk about this afterwards. But a giant sticker or a banner for them to hang at every everywhere they go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Used RCA TV rotors. KS1G's got a ton of information here. Portable rotation, used to sell one. It's the same price as the G5500, which is what? That's the Yaesu
Yes.
azimuth and...
Yep.
Come on, help me out here.
Elevation.
Thank you. Brain, no function. There's a Aussie kit.
Put on your thinking cap.
It's SAT NOGS. There's plans. And then again, there's always the antenna kit. So we got that. Let's see. And apparently there's a kit that you can put together with parts from Amazon. Is that the? That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that don't have the rotators at home, and they just bring the antenna outside with their radios, and they're pointing it at every single pass. So that's the easy, inexpensive way to do it, and it's reliable. You just look at your phone and point it in the direction that the satellite is.
Unless you're directionally challenged.
Unless you're directionally challenged.
So we have a on our Discord, the K5YBY and Clubhouse Discord. If you guys aren't part of it, I know Bean and I believe Ant, you are too. For those listening on the podcast or tonight, in the description there should be a link to the Discord. We have a subsection called Sats in there, a category. And so I think we can really start to get that discussion group going a little bit with some questions. And maybe if you have any videos, Bean, you can post them there. It'd be awesome. And in the general tab, you can too. But I think this is a topic that's going to kind of take off a little bit in our community, because I think it's pretty awesome. And I think it's sparked a lot of people's curiosity. But we're going to
tried it or interested, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we're gonna
interested in getting back, because now I got to exchange QSL cards with Bean and Ant, or at least Bean. I don't know if Anna make contact.
I rarely get to grab the microphone.
If you make contact with both of us, you'll get a special one.
Oh. I like special ones.
So we're going to start to close it up for tonight, wrap it up. We're going to do go around the table here, around the room. And Joseph has one last question. He says, how close to the actual satellite do you have to aim with the arrow type antennas? Do you guys have an idea?
General area. If you're looking at your phone and you're in the ballpark, you'll be able to hear when you're not pointing in the correct direction. But as long as you're in the general direction, it works out pretty good.
Awesome. So I think we'll go around. Does anybody else have something to add here, or we're going to go around the room and just say our farewell? 73s there. Don, what's up with you, buddy?
Me?
Yeah. You. Thank you, Philip
Phil.
Jr., for buying us some beers tonight.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil. I'm here on Tuesday nights. I'm on Twitter, Smoke Signals RF on Twitter, following all these great people and other things, and just hanging out. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Tuesday.
Awesome. James?
Still no YouTube channel. If I start activating all Canada, I definitely will start a YouTube channel, at least for that. But yeah, nothing going yet. I'm just going to keep photoing on.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Beer snack. What about you, buddy?
Yeah, you're looking at it, man. I'm pretty sure that Bean and Ann are going to have more content on their channels than I have, period. In no time. But I still have more than Steve. And that's what matters right now. Tuesday night's here. Thursday night's FT8, hanging out and having a good time. And just, it's the 3-letter curse word that, scares so many people. Got to have fun. And that's what I'm in for. We're in for the fun.
Awesome. Bean and Ant, what's up with you guys? Anything before we go?
Just thank you guys for having us. It's been a good time. I was happy I was actually able to make contact live for you guys.
Thank you so much. That was so cool.
Follow us on Twitter. It's at KC1MEB and at NU1U_Ant.
Awesome. I know I know, guys, for me, like, you guys really introduced me, besides for knowing that SAT community, like the SAT contacts is possible. You guys have really been the first to actually sort of open up that door to see what it is and kind of the conversation rolling. So I'm sure as myself and a lot of other people start to research and do a little bit more of, looking into it, the questions will go even further. And, because right now it's just absorbing, and then there'll come a point where we have so many more questions. We'd love to have you back on sometime, and maybe down the road in a couple of months as ourselves and more of those who watch get into it, and we'll have a whole new level of conversation to have. And so thank you so much for being here. Go ahead, Beer Snack.
I have one more question since you said we'll come up with questions. Bean, how high up is the antenna? Is the satellite?
From where we are?
Yeah, how high up is the satellite?
In the atmosphere.
Twice as far as halfway up.
He just told a joke and you missed the punchline.
Twice as far as halfway up, Bean. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. It's always fun. It's always great. And I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit this end video.
Hold on.
What?
Joe Brett. We gotta give Joe and Steve an opportunity.
Go right around this area.
He's sober. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm not interested tonight. I have
Yes,
put
you
together.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I have put together a couple of new videos, and I plan on doing a couple more this weekend. And they're uploaded, but they're not public, so you can't see them yet because, last time I just threw them all out there at one time, and then I went 40 days without a video. So we're going to go like 60 days maybe, and then I'll put one out, throw some breadcrumbs.
Awesome.
Nice.
Steve-O.
Oh, yep. So like I said when we started, I've got to get a hold of some concrete contractors, and I'm going to get started on the grounding video this week. And I may do some POTA this weekend. We've got a couple of new parks in the area, so I need to go hit those.
Awesome.
I'll be out on Friday.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us this evening. 73 to all. Let's say goodbye as we roll that awesome outro video. 73.
Bye,
everybody.
guys.